Okay, Dynamite. I'm about to do it in a minute, but I gotta address something. I know that many people, not many, but many people are waiting for the Gump reports to be done. Now, I want to make this clear, and it's a little complicated, because right now I'm actually very angry. I'm angry at myself because of something that happened due to something that was going on that I had no control over. On Monday, you see I'm getting angry. On Monday, I found I had an issue with my bank because of my debit card. I was trying to get that sorted out, and I couldn't. Today, I finally got it sorted out. It's all sorted, but I accidentally, today, deleted the video that I produced on Saturday because, as you know, I said I was going to do some Gump reports. I did 3 of them. I did a roundup for AEW, a roundup for TNA, and a roundup for WWE. I did them. I set them aside in a file, and yesterday I put that file, well, basically I always have the file in the same place, but I took one of the videos out for it to be rendered, to put the intro on it, and then rendered video. I'd already got the thumbnail ready, but because of what was going on, trying to figure out what was the problem with my bank, I was so frustrated and anxious, like with anxiety you get anxious, I didn't realize when I was going to do my NXT review that I left the same video that I was going to do for the Gump report in the same file area. Because I have a certain place I put my video files so I can edit them and then render them. And I accidentally deleted it. You have no idea how angry that is. That was 15 minutes, no, what was it? 20 minutes of content that I accidentally deleted because I thought it was a video from another time. I didn't think, because when you're trying to deal with something that is very important, and in my case, because I get anxious very much, I tend to forget things. And I forgot that video was meant to be edited, rendered. It was not done yet, and I destroyed it. I deleted it, and I can't get it back. Now, I do have my WWE video done. So what I'm going to do now, oh, my eyes itching. What I'm going to do now, after I do this Dynamite Delight, I'm going to redo that Gump report. I've already have rendered my Gump report for WWE. So this is the deal. I'm going to do this video for AEW. I'm going to upload it. But then within about maybe 20 minutes later, I'm going to upload the Gump report as well. I'm gonna bring them both up. I'm gonna give a little bit of time so you guys can see that the first video is up, and then I'm gonna upload the next video. So when you see this, you're gonna know, okay, after this is supposed to be another video within about maybe 20 or 30 minutes. And it will be done within 20 or 30 minutes. I'm gonna give it that much time so there's no problem with uploading to YouTube, because if you don't know, YouTube can act really screwy when you do more than one video within about an hour or so, because it acts screwy. And the video is not gonna be short, it's gonna be a bit long, so this is what you're gonna get. Hopefully you'll like the WWE one. It was supposed to follow the TNA one. This is WWE. This is what you're gonna see. And I have to do the thumbnail for that one because I didn't do the thumbnail for the WWE one yet. I got to do that one. Yes, it's a simple GIMP PNG file, but still I got to get the assets needed to make it. So around that time, I'll be making a thumbnail. Within 30 minutes, it should be uploaded. I know this is a long-winded thing. I'm sorry. It pisses me off when I screw something up. Let's go here. Now, was this a good show? Yeah. It was good. And I got to tell you this. I am more interested in All In than I was before. There's no lie about it. Before the last month that we've been getting content from AEW, I haven't been totally interested because they're like this. They were like this, but you can't say they're not like this anymore. They're more like this. A lot more focused. They're not straight laser focused, but they are more focused, and I can tell you that I am liking it. Now, let me say this. I'm not going to do these segments because I want to get this done quickly. I'm not going to 100% just glaze over everything. But I want to tell you the most important things that did happen in this show. Let me give it to you like this. the beginning match between Will Ospreay and Lance Archer meant nothing. Now, the talk beforehand, when you see the American champion with his belt there messing with people in North Carolina, was fine. I did like it, seeing Will Ospreay being pissed off as hell that he got disrespected so heavily, and then seeing that, bruh, you disrespecting my grandmother, bruh. I'm gonna take your head off, bruh. That was not bad. He played into what it means to be an American. He also played into what it means to be someone who's come to America. And then when it came to Kyle Fletcher, who basically wanted to take the head off of MJF when he spoke, I gotta say this. Kyle Fletcher, with the new tat on his arm, I believe. He got a new tat. He felt more legitimate than Will Ospreay. Not saying that Will isn't a legitimate person, that he doesn't talk pretty well, but you can tell that Kyle was a little more better than Will was, and I liked that. So what it led to after the match and before the match, I'll give you this. The Will Ospreay match versus Lance Archer meant nothing. I'm repeating it because I want to make it very clear. It's not about how well Lance wrestles. They just don't care about him ever getting anywhere. When it comes to the clinch, he never wins. He looks menacing, he looks destructive, but when you want someone to get over, you use a Lance Archer who's not legitimate anymore. And I take nothing from Lance. He looked great. The opening choke slam was great. But I knew 100% Lance would not get it done. Because he never gets it done. Not because he doesn't want to, it's because that's the way they book him. Kyle Fletcher looked good. You didn't hear anything from a Don Callis. That was fine. I will say this was done very effectively. Next, the non-title match between Will... I will tell you this. Does this feud between Willow and a Chris Statlander, is it more substantial? Yes, it is. Did we now get this for the CMLL women's title? Does it feel more legitimate? Yes, it does. But here's the problem. I don't want to see a Willow dealing with Chris Statlander for the... You see, I'm botching Chris Statlander's name. Because this should be for the TNT title. This should be for the world title. This should be some type of stipulation for these two women, or even for Hathaway to have some type of stipulation. I don't want it for another promotion's title. I just don't. That's the only problem we got here with that damn title. That's the major issue. The title really, I don't care about it. Now, if it had been for the ROH women's title, and it was not Athena holding it, and they're trying to do something with that title because they're trying to make the ROH title, well, important because they want to make it into its actual brand. That I can understand. But it isn't. And that is a major flaw. But I won't tell you that the feud has been feeling more substantial, because it does feel more substantial. But it still has that major flaw of using another company's title to get this story going. And even though Statlander won, and getting Willow hit in the face with a chain, it's not enough. I want something that's from our company. Yes, I know CMLL is affiliated with AEW. They're doing work with them, which is not very good, because we really don't make CMLL mean anything. We've just been doing straight matches. It doesn't feel like these people are important. And we don't even see any matches between us to them much at all. So it doesn't feel like it's both sides. It's like it's one-sided. Moving on. The next match, which is the third match, it is a do I care about this trios match? No. Because we had a match made where three guys were thrown together. Roosh and how can I say this? Seeing Strom, Roosh, and the former Black Taurus, who is now Menaso. I think Menaso. Do they feel like a legitimate tag team? No, they don't. It doesn't make a difference if they've been talking about it on Rampage. I don't watch Rampage. I'd rather see it be built up here in Dynamite. They could at least had a quick, short little interview saying, just like in Collision, not Rampage, but in Collision they're starting this. Because I've seen Collision, I don't see them there. So I don't feel anything from them. Do I feel anything from Emi Ishii? Yes, I do. Do I feel anything from Orange Cassidy? Yes, I do. Do I feel anything from Mark Briscoe? Yes. The conglomeration does feel more legitimate than that thrown together team. And the heels won. And it makes it harder to feel anything for them because guess what? Any build is probably on not Collision, but Rampage. And I don't care about Rampage. I don't do reviews anymore of Rampage. Nobody barely watched my reviews. And it was always frustrating to do it right after SmackDown. Not because I couldn't do 3 hours. But SmackDown was better. I'm sorry. Next. Camille versus Jade. She annihilated her. She looked awkward. But that awkwardness didn't take away from the match. And Camille looked dominant. Let's make this clear. Camille is one of the most longest running women who held a title in NWA. I reviewed NWA at the time. Remember, I used to review it before they went onto Reels and you couldn't watch them anymore. I have no idea if they're doing anything. I don't know if they're still doing videos for the CW. You can tell me below. Only thing I know is that you can't really see them anymore. And the only thing they show on the YouTube channel is just snippets of matches from Power. I'm not saying that they may not get anywhere, but does anyone watch Real? And then now, CW. They're doing certain episodes, but are they still doing the episodes? I'm just saying, you guys can tell me. I don't know. The thing that mattered the most was the CEO. Mercedes made it very clear that Camille is a muscle because she's sick and tired of getting jumped by a Britt Baker. There's no problem with it. The CEO sounded fine. Camille didn't need to say anything. She's just an insurance policy, just like with Nick Aldis. She doesn't need to speak now. Let's make it very clear. She doesn't need to speak now. The woman is like this. And she's fine. And that's the way she should be. Just not talk yet. But they better do something with her after a certain amount of time when they do break off I want to make this clear. The one match I want to see, the one feud I want to see, Saraya versus Mercedes Moné. They got an automatic story there because of what happened in WWE. They got an automatic story. I think that would be one of the most profound stories that AEW will have if they go there. If they do and they do it right, people will care about Saraya. People will care about Mercedes. Mercedes literally ended Saraya's career, not on purpose, but when she kicked her in the back and she lost all feeling in her body and could not get off the damn mat in that tag match that she was in. That is an automatic story there, and they better go there one day. I'm just saying. The final match, Darby Allin versus a Hangman Page. The first time they ever faced each other in the AEW ring. I don't remember if they ever have faced each other, even before AEW in 2019 when they had the first All In. I don't remember if they even had it. So this is a very interesting situation. Both of them have been there almost near the same time. You know, one was a few months earlier than the other one. Doesn't matter. They've both been there practically from the beginning of 2019. This was a curious match. What did we really gain here? Was it a good match? Yes. You see Darby basically bouncing around like a beach ball, being kicked around. How many times did he get his back smashed into the ring skirt? 3 times. And then he gets thrown into the ring steps twice. And in the end, he gets 2 dead eyes. And he still wins the match. Now, I know many people can say that was so unrealistic. And it was, if it was somebody else other than Darby Allin, who's been doing the same thing for 5 years, who's literally has been Mick Foley. If no one doesn't believe he's Mick Foley, look at Mick Foley's old stuff. When he went through barbed wire, he went through fire, he went through losing part of his ear. When he literally was kicked down the steps by a legend killer, Randy Orton. That is Mick Foley, not Sting. I tell you again, he is the new embodiment of Mick Foley. That is what Darby Allin is. He's the new embodiment. But due to the fact that Sting was there, not a Mick Foley, I would rather see Mick Foley team up with a Darby Allin. He doesn't have to wrestle. He could be his manager. I wish he would show up in AEW and really help him. But since Mick Foley's working with TKO WWE, we're not going to get it. If you haven't seen those treasure, what is it called? WWE Treasures, I can't remember the name of it, where he was working with Booker T and Lita, trying to get old artifacts from wrestlers to display it for the fans and other wrestlers who are up and coming. That's what he's doing. So it's sad. But I know not everyone is comfortable with that because they think it's unfair that Darby has to be that indestructible. But let's make it clear. Darby is he can take almost anything. Hell, in New York, he got hit by a damn bus, and he's still wrestling. I'm just saying. Now, let's do the last part, which will be what was spoken about when it came to Bryan Danielson and when it came to Swerve Strickland. Was that segment profound? Yes, it was. That he talked about a gift, and he talked about a promise. Talked about the gift of being able to see AEW the way it is. He talked about the gift of the last 3 years that he's been wrestling. He's been loving it. And he also talked about talked about the gift of having a chance to become AEW champion. Excuse me. And then he talks about the promise that he made to his family and his daughter that he would retire from active wrestling. Right now, he said 100% that today is the last day of his contract. That after today, there is no more contract. But he made it very clear that he wanted this. So he's going to All In as champion. How can I say this? When I mean champion, the champion of AEW. He has been the flag bearer for quite a while. Now, I'm not saying the flag bearer in the sense that he's a CM Punk or an MJF or anyone like that. He's been the person that you would really refer to as someone important in the back. Because what happened with the EVPs, what happened with Kenny Omega, what happened with CM Punk, Ace Steel and all of that, he's one of those people in the back that has been the flag bearer for the company, who's been talking with the wrestlers, working with the wrestlers, making it important that there would be some type of, not authority, but like a conscience for AEW. Now, not talking about a Tony Khan who really can't get out of his own way. Let's make it clear. Tony is trying to be friendly to the wrestlers way too much. And Tony has been letting the wrestlers run most of the entire company. Ergo, what happened with the EVPs, what happened with CM Punk, and with the fight. So he's been one of those staples that is the hero of AEW in the back. I'm not saying that he's perfect. He's not. But in general, since he's been one of the people that's been influential along with Chris Jericho, who I know he's not perfect. Chris is not perfect. But you have not heard any type of craziness from Bryan Danielson. Nothing. If there was anything, I would have seen it on all the dirt sheet sites or anything. We've had a little bit of controversy when it came to Tony Khan, of course. We got something that happened with Chris Jericho when it came with several accusations. But Bryan Danielson, no. So this is a gift to him. Whether he's going to wrestle after All In is a big question, because he has made it very clear he wants to retire. But maybe it will be a retirement in next year, because they may actually throw the title on. I don't know. But let me give you like this. Hearing Swerve show respect to him meant something to me personally. And seeing that Swerve is willing to accept that Bryan Danielson is an inspiration to other wrestlers and himself. Where I'm not trying to be prejudiced or racist. But let's make it very clear. Swerve is not much different than any black wrestler. They would rather see black wrestlers more prominent than white wrestlers or Spanish wrestlers. They rather care about that. They do. And there's nothing wrong with it. But there have been some black wrestlers who've given a nasty attitude like, it's all about us. Now, not all do that. Let's make it clear. Not all. But I did like that his segment did cover that. Now, what does this really mean for AEW when this match finally happens? Does it give them something special? Yes. Kind of like what happened with Kofi Kingston at Kofi Mania. This could be a Bryan Danielson moment that no one is going to forget because it is obvious he really does want to consider retirement. He doesn't need to be an active wrestler anymore in the ring. He doesn't. He can work behind the scenes and he could, once in a while, come out of retirement and maybe once in a while do a singles match at an All Out or All In or a Full Gear or Revolution. Once in a while, maybe in 2 years' time, if he does retire in 2027, we could actually have him get back in the ring and do one match. Something like that. So this could be his moment. And I know people would say, dude, what are you talking about? Bryan Danielson and a Kofi Kingston run. That was unfair to say that. Kofi's never had it. Kofi's black. No. Both of them are considered small wrestlers. Now, has WWE been very restricted when it comes to black wrestlers? Hell yes, they have been. And I won't tell you that they haven't. But I'm not going down that route about race. I'm talking about two small wrestlers who should have never gotten the damn title because Vince never wanted them. Understand, Kofi should have never had that shot when Mustafa Ali got hurt. Kofi got over because it was organic. Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson, he got over because of the same thing. No one expected him to become champion. Vince did not want him to have the title. But because he was so over, they had no choice but to finally pull the damn trigger. And it's the same thing. A Kofi Mania type of moment for Bryan Danielson, who's not in the company anymore that held him down at one point. He now has it in another company. But in this situation, it's not about a Vince that prevented him from becoming champion again. It was his neck. It was. Remember, understand, he would have never been able to do anything that he wanted until he got his neck fixed. And even then, due to the new environment, he was never going to become champion anyway because they want to push new people. So because of his neck, it was too late for him to try and get the championship. And being here is his moment. Now, will he win it? I don't know. But at least it will be there. A possibility. And people will be happy with it. But I'm going to be honest. You know who I'd rather see the match with Bryan Danielson? CM Punk. CM Punk versus Bryan Danielson. The last time they faced each other, what, was 2013 or 14? No, 14. I think 2014 was the last match that either one of them ever touched one another. And that is a match I wanted to see. When CM Punk came back, I wanted Bryan Danielson versus CM Punk for the World Championship. I truly believe that might have been what they were going to build to for this year, but you already know what happened. So I will tell you this was not a bad show. It was actually pretty good. Is it balanced? It's like this a little bit, but it's way better than this. And I know I'm glazing on what about Mariah May's talk, which was good, and the way that a Toni Storm acted, which was also good. I say again, the women's division is better. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying it's great. It's better. So I will give you that. But it's just me. And I will be doing my Gump Report after this. Peace.